So there's a lot of options when it comes to email editors and builders. What are the pros and cons of these different options?
Yeah, so first I would say let's sort of like put in perspective what the different types are. So at least the way I kind of categorize them. The way I look at it is that you have the editors like the Mailchimp, which are simple editors. A lot of the way those work is that you kind of start off a template, or you start off a very sort of like structured model that you work off of and putting together a template to use for email. That tends to have limited options in terms of design, but it makes it easier in terms of just kind of building together by creating. Then you have these custom builders, these email tools that are designed for building an email from scratch. And the way those work is that they do have more options. They have a lot more options. You can do a lot more with it, but they still tend to have some creative limitations. Because of the way the tool works, you kind of have to follow their model. So you don't have complete design flexibility from it. So then you have the third option, which is coding an email. When you code an email, you essentially have complete creative freedom. You're able to, design based on your brand, based on guidelines that you typically have for your design.
So like a brand kit, like all those complex, painstaking variables that 1,000 meetings decide on, the right color, the right font, the different sets of spacing and all that stuff. You can define all that in a more complex tool.
Yeah, exactly. So you could define that by coding a template, essentially. So you get the right, like you said, all the design details. It's hard to get some of these design details in other types of editors, but you could get it by coding your template. And then with the tool that we've been developing, BlocksEdit, you could actually import that template and then use it to build emails visually in an editor. So you're kind of still taking the WYSIWYG approach, but you're using it based on a very customized template that you have complete control over. And that's what the issue of some of these other editors is the fact that you have some design limitations that you run into. Even if you have a lot of options, you could get it to a certain point, but eventually, if you're a designer, you'll notice that there's all those nuances, all those details are not quite there the same way as being able to do it by coding your own template.